2025 was a fucking shit year for movies. If you're an online grifter who wants to get millions of views, for the rest of us, it was actually pretty good. Yeah, sure, there were a lot of stink bombs, but to be honest, just avoid them. I avoided most of the shit that I thought would be terrible. I didn't watch Snow White. I didn't watch the Lilo and Stitch remake. I didn't watch How to Train Your Dragon. I refused to watch these movies because I knew I would hate them. So I just didn't watch them. I mean, there was still some shit in here. We'll get to that. But overall, I actually thought this was kind of a pretty damn great year for movies. Maybe the best of the decade so far. I'm not exactly sure. So we're just going to get into this. I'm just going to go over everything I've seen this year from bottom to top. And there's a lot of really good stuff at the top, so I'm excited to get to that. But first, we got to get to the shit. At number 56, the fantastic film Flight Risk. Hey, what are you doing over there? Hey, oh my god, we're in this plane or something. We gotta make sure it lands. Oh my god. Hey, have you heard of this guy named Jesus? He's pretty good, Oh god, Mark Wahlberg was so bad in this movie. He gives possibly the worst performance I have seen all year in a movie. I don't even know what he was going for in this movie. I think he was going for like a creepy Hannibal Lecter thing, but it just did not work. I was constantly cracking up at this guy. He was not threatening at all. The main actress, who's supposed to be like, what was it? This movie came out like a year ago. She's supposed to be like an FBI agent or something, and she's gotten in trouble in the past, and it's supposed to be like, I don't know, empowering or something. Man, Mel Gibson just needs to fucking retire. He does not know how to make a movie anymore. This movie was mostly just boring, although there were some funny bad moments, so I guess I would give it an advantage because of that, but still, just terrible. The worst movie I've seen all year. I hated this movie. Everyone who saw it hated it. Everyone knew when they dropped this piece of shit in January it was going to be awful. At number 55, we have The Running Man. Oh my god. I was looking forward to this. This is one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I love a lot of Edgar Wright's previous movies. I love Shaun of the Dead. I love Scott Pilgrim, Hot Fuzz. I like Baby Driver. He's a great director. I don't know what happened with this movie. And I know everyone thought this movie was just kind of whatever. It was a disappointment. It didn't live up to his filmography. But man, I just really hated this movie. I didn't think it was funny. I didn't think it was clever. I thought its commentary was so overdone, especially this year. Just the fact that this has been so overdone, this commentary about the poor and the rich. And yes, there is a lot of commentary to be had there, but this movie always tries to do it in like a winking way where it wants to be a big blockbuster that's dumb and you don't think about it. But then at the same time, it also wants you to like get into like these themes about the underclass, and it's like you can't be Parasite and Baby Driver in the same movie. You've got to pick one or the other. It's clear that the book most likely picked the Parasite route, but this movie chose to be more fun and possibly, entertaining for an audience, but it's not entertaining. It doesn't lead to any actual entertainment. It's just nonsense. It doesn't have any sort of real spectacle to it. It doesn't even feel like an Edgar Wright movie. It feels so soulless, so lifeless. To be honest, I mean, in terms of actual movies, there were worse made movies than this movie all year. But man, I think I walked out of the theater the most disappointed and the most angry at this movie. Number 54, the SpongeBob movie, whatever it's called. I'm not even going to look over to see. I didn't watch this in a theater. I watched it at 2x speed on a very legal website. It's SpongeBob. I don't know. I grew up with SpongeBob. You're probably not going to find it funny if you're over the age of 9, maybe 10. If you're under that age or you have a kid under that age, I think they'd enjoy it. Other than that, I wouldn't recommend it. Just keep watching the original episodes in the first movie. There's really nothing to modern SpongeBob. It sucks. The comedy is entirely just them slapping their butts together and silly gags, which the original had, but the original also had like written comedy to it. It was half written comedy, half gags. And new SpongeBob just seems to be all gags, and it's completely kind of lost sight of what the show was during its heyday. But yeah, it's a dumb kids movie. I'm really not going to get that mad over it. Whatever. Number 53, The Electric State. Oh boy, people were mad about this one this year. People did not like this movie. And I didn't either. But I didn't hate it quite as much as everyone else. Some people literally said this was the death of cinema. To me, it was just another shitty Netflix movie, and apparently it was a bad adaptation of a book a bunch of people liked. I'm sure the book is much better. The Russo brothers have fallen off quite considerably in their last few movies. I think everyone agrees on that. But to be honest, you can even see these problems all the way back to Endgame, like the gray battles, the lack of color, the just lack of visuals in general. Like, this is not a new problem for them. They have always kind of struggled with this, but in the MCU, they had strong actors and strong writing to help back them up with overall a good sense of spectacle. This movie has no actual sense of spectacle. It's just boring to look at. Millie Bobby Brown sucks in it. So does Chris Pratt. It feels like they are just there for their paychecks, and that's it. They did not give two flying fucks about the script of this movie. And I can't really blame them, because I didn't either. It's stupid. It's just another Netflix movie, man, and I mostly just avoided this trash. I only watched this to make a video on it. It's just shit. Complete utter shit. It doesn't matter. Netflix movies don't matter unless they're actually made by visionary directors. They're just made to keep you watching, keep you subscribed, and to keep you from unsubscribing and going to a different streaming service altogether. Number 52, Madea, what's it called? Medea's Destination Wedding. Once again, it's just more Netflix content. It's there to keep you subscribed. It's there to keep you watching. It's there to keep you on your couch. And I watched it. I had a couple beers while watching it. And it's exactly what you would expect. It's another Madea movie. If you like Madea, you will like this movie. If you do not like Madea, you will hate this movie. I think there can be some good jokes of Madea. I think it's a character that can lead to some actual semi-funny comedy from time to time. But this movie was just a flat-out advertisement for a hotel. It's not worth watching. It sucked. Number 51, a Minecraft movie. This is the most conflicted I've been with a movie on the list so far, because it's an awful, terrible movie. It's not funny. It looks visually hideous. All the actors feel like they're just staring at a green screen. It doesn't feel like they're actually like looking at anything real. But I fell for the memes. I did have a good time seeing this opening weekend in the theater. I did actually enjoy this. I would have recommended the theater experience in the opening weekend for this. It was so crazy that you kind of had to be there for it. It was kind of a unique theatrical experience. But post that, there's really nothing left to this movie other than just a shitty kids movie. So that's number 51. Number 50, Captain America: Brave New World. Are any of us surprised this movie turned out the way it did? I think most of us probably knew this movie was going to suck when we started hearing all the rumors, the reshoots, actors just changing out complete designs in between those reshoots. Whenever you hear that kind of stuff, you usually know a movie's not going to turn out that well in the end, and this one really didn't. It's just another example of how Marvel just didn't have anything planned out post Phase 4. They kind of just had the fuck it attitude for a lot of these recent movies. They all feel slapped together. The action's not that good. The character work isn't that good. Anthony Mackie is at least likable as the protagonist, but he's not given anything to do in the movie as Captain America. It's just a fail. And now they're just like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just bring back Steve Rogers, because we clearly just can't figure out this character, even though if you just gave him one interesting thing to do, people would probably latch on to him as Captain America very easily. But they just assumed that, oh, this movie flopped because it didn't have Steve Rogers in it. No, it flopped because it was boring as shit and no one wanted to go watch a boring movie in the theater. So that's number 50. I don't have much else to say on it. It's more Marvel post-Endgame slop. Number 49. Oh, hold up. Before I get to number 49, I have to give a thanks to our sponsor, GamblingCasinoFanDuel.net. Number 49 is Shelby Oaks. I've been watching Chris Stuckman since I was about 9 or 10 years old, so I've been watching him for a long time now. But this movie was so boring. It sucked. I'm sorry, Chris, but this movie was not good. It was like one of the most generic horror movies I think I've seen in recent years. There was like nothing original about it, nothing interesting about it. It's not scary. It's not even funny bad. It's just boring. It feels like if this movie was made 20 years ago, it would have been one of those movies that would have just been in the $5 DVD Walmart bin. At number 48, we have a huge improvement. Jurassic World Rebirth. Yes. Finally, instead of being atrocious, it was just normally bad. Finally, the Jurassic World movies had a huge improvement because Dominion was like in my top 3 worst of the year that came out. And this is like only top 10 worst. So, hey, we're getting better. Once again, just like Captain America, there's not much else to say. We all knew this was going to be shit. We all know the Jurassic World movies don't care. They all suck. And yet we always go to see them. This movie did like what, $900 million, and everyone still hated it. Like, it doesn't matter what anyone thinks about these movies. They'll do well no matter what. Just put Scarlett Johansson next to a bunch of dinosaurs and we'll all go see it because we like the original. We like Scarlett Johansson. We'll just show up and watch this crap. And they're already making a Jurassic World 5, which I can't even say I'm shocked about because of course they are. They're going to do a whole nother trilogy with these characters. And then they're going to do a whole nother trilogy with a different set of characters. And then by then, movie theaters won't exist. So we'll be watching Jurassic World 15 on Netflix in 50 years. So look forward to that. Number 47, Good Fortune. This is yet another one of those commentaries on the rich and the poor, made by a guy who went to Saudi Arabia and collected a $10 million check that he has not given to the poor. So glad to see that Tom from Parks and Rec is really up to some good stuff lately. Number 46, A Working Man. This is the new Jason Statham, David Ayer. I was about to say David Finch. David Fincher would not direct this movie. David Ayer team up once again after The Beekeeper, and it is just another Jason Statham action movie where he is perfect at everything and he cannot lose fights. And he is just a badass who can do everything perfectly and always just win every single big grand fight he gets into, just like all of the rest of his movies. It's exactly what you'd expect it to be. It's just Jason Statham. He walks into a place and goes like, "So do you want me to break your nail or break your toe first?" That's basically every line of dialogue he has in this movie. It sucks. This movie sucks. They've got another one of these coming out this year. I probably will not watch it. Number 45, The Accountant 2. This wasn't that bad. We're starting to get into the movies that are like tolerable. I didn't love them, but they're okay. Like, we're past the garbage at this point, which not a lot of garbage to be honest, mostly because I avoided a lot of it. But The Accountant 2, it's kind of what you'd expect. It's a typical buddy thriller between Ben Affleck and Jon Bernthal's character. I don't really remember a whole lot about this because this was earlier in the year. I remember they had a big shootout at the end in Mexico. That was fine. It kind of felt like a CBS show. Number 44, Begonia. This is way higher on everyone else's list, I guarantee it. And there's honestly a lot to praise in the movie. I love the way the movie looked. I loved all the performances. The 3 leads, Jesse Plemons, Emma Stone, and the his like brother cousin character. I don't remember the actor's name, but all 3 of them were great. I thought all 3 of those performances were really great. And to be honest, if they all got nominated for Oscars, I'd be fine with it because they actually gave great performances in the movie. My big problem is just the script. I found it to be really predictable, like class commentary. The movie tries to act as if it's different from these other class commentary movies because there's the scene where he's like, "Oh, I was part of everything. I was part of the right. I was part of the left." But yet the movie still feels like it leans heavily towards one way. And the twist is just really predictable. Like, you know, going into it, if you're like a movie person like me, okay, it's directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, who is weird as shit. So of course the twist of the movie is going to be that there is an actual like alien girl. I feel like most people walking into this movie who actually wanted to see it could have seen that coming from a mile away. I guess some people were surprised by it, but I saw it coming from a mile away, that of course that's what it was going to be, that everything was actually real, because it's Yorgos Lanthimos and everything has to be weird and unique, when really that's just the more predictable ending. I think Yorgos Lanthimos is kind of having the same problem as Wes Anderson, where you just know what to expect from him now, so his unpredictableness is becoming predictable. But I didn't hate this movie. I think there's some really good stuff in this movie. I just didn't particularly like it too much. Number 43, In Whose Name, the Kanye West documentary that surprisingly didn't stir up that much controversy. And I went to go see it, and I understand why, because it basically reveals little to nothing that we already didn't know about Kanye. It really doesn't have that many shocking moments. It's mostly just rants that we've already seen him go on. Number 42, Novocaine. I barely remember this movie. I remember Jack Quaid was kind of like typical Jack Quaid role, like nice guy. He couldn't feel anything, which gave him an advantage in the action scenes. Some of the action scenes were kind of fun and kind of creative, but most of the rest of the movie just wasn't really that interesting, was kind of bland. Number 41, Final Destination Bloodlines. Everyone went crazy over this one. People were surprisingly very nice to this movie. It had like a 90-something% score on Rotten Tomatoes. Most people were giving it 7 and 8 out of 10s. I found it to be okay. Admittedly, I've never seen a Final Destination movie before. This is my first one. But I feel like after just watching one, I kind of get it. There are like scenes that are highlights that are pretty funny and creative kills, but overall don't really have a ton of, depth behind them. I'm not looking for like super high quality, character writing in a Final Destination movie, but with this one, it just felt like all of the characters were just mostly unlikable. The main character was just boring, which I feel like there were like 2 or 3 other characters in this movie that would have been better main characters than her. Like the 2 brothers, I feel like would have been a way better way to explore this movie, because you kind of get into like their bond right away, and I feel like through their bond, you would have been able to actually care more about what was going on for the kills. Number 40, Jay Kelly. I watched this like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I can't really tell you a whole lot that happens in this movie. George Clooney is basically just playing himself in the movie because it's supposed to be a commentary on celebrity and stardom and what will you lose to become famous. But all these things have been done 1,000 times over by now, so none of that part of the movie is really interesting. What the interesting part of this movie is the Adam Sandler character. He should have been the main character of this movie. He gave a way more interesting character performance than George Clooney did, in my opinion. I really was impressed by Adam Sandler. I thought he gave a really good emotional performance here. Here's another awards frontrunner movie. At number 39, we have Dogman. This one's nominated for Best Picture, right? I think Pete Davidson is getting nominated for Best Supporting Performance. I watched it on a plane. It was cute. It did exactly what it needed to. I know elementary schoolers love the Dogman books. This did a pretty good job, I think, of adapting those books. It had that same style. It had that same sense of humor. I think if you had a kid who was younger and was maybe in elementary school, they would love this movie. And it's tolerable for adults too. Number 38, Nobody 2. I don't remember a whole lot of this movie. I remember liking it, walking out of it, and thinking it was not as good as the first one. But it's one of those movies that like completely vanishes from your mind the second you stop watching it, because there's really like no standout action scenes. Bob Odenkirk is good in it, but he's not giving obviously an amazing performance like Better Call Saul or some of his other work. He's just kind of giving a typical action movie star performance, which doesn't really suit him that well. Number 37, Roofman. I've seen this one a lot higher on a lot of people's lists. A lot of people surprisingly really enjoyed this. I thought it was an okay dramedy. I went into it more thinking it was a comedy, and then was kind of surprised by more of the actual like drama elements of the movie. Overall, Channing Tatum and Kirsten Dunst both give really good performances. It has its moments of being funny. The drama works enough. I feel like it's the type of movie where like I could show it to my mom and she'd like it. Like it's that kind of old, maybe like 2000 style movie we don't get a lot of. So even though I didn't love it, I'm glad we got this movie. I hope we get more movies like it. Number 36, Elio. Once again, just like Dogman, I didn't particularly love it, but I found it had just enough imagination beyond like the generic kind of plot, and enough like cool character designs and spaceship designs to where like I feel I could watch it and enjoy it enough. But if I had a kid, like they'd really enjoy this movie. They'd enjoy the silliness. They'd enjoy kind of the spectacle of it. And I think overall it's a solid movie for kids. But my main problem is that like Pixar used to make just great movies. They didn't make just great kids movies. They made great movies. They made the best movies of the year. And now like their movies are like in the lower part of my list. It just, maybe I'm not a child anymore and I've just lost the imagination. But I don't think so. I think a lot of people feel the same way I feel about Pixar. I feel like their decline the past like decade or so has really been sad to see, because they used to be like some of the best storytellers in Hollywood. Number 35, Predator Badlands. Once again, everyone really liked this one. I saw people giving it 4 stars, 3.5 stars. Man, I just didn't think this movie was interesting past the first 20 minutes. The first 20 minutes, it locked me in. No words. You understand everything that's going on for just a couple subtitles and mostly just told for the visuals. Good action, an interesting world that this Predator was going to explore. And I'm like, okay. And like, I don't know how long this movie is, but maybe it's going to be like an hour and a half, like kind of interesting exploration through this Predator's eyes of this dangerous planet. And I'm like, I'm down for this. And then that Ellie Fanning fucking android showed up, and the second her character said, hello, hello, and started waving her hands around, I'm like, oh, this movie's done. We're over. It's over. Man, I found that character to be so annoying and so boring. Both versions of her. And then they have to get the alien characters involved because it's a Predator movie that has to be PG-13, so let's just have androids in it, so all the blood is just white or whatever. Man, I know they were trying to like start a new era for the Predator franchise through this. Maybe put more of a Guardians of the Galaxy vibe, make it PG-13, get a newer generation into Predator so they could keep making Predator movies. I just didn't think this was that interesting. I don't understand the hype behind this one, but a lot of other people enjoyed it, so maybe I'm just wrong on this one. I don't know. Number 34, more Disney, Zootopia 2. Once again, I saw a lot of people rating this one maybe higher. They really enjoyed it. That's nice. I thought it was just kind of an okay kids movie. I didn't think it was particularly that great, but I didn't think it was terrible either. Most Disney animated movies have been really bad these last couple of years, so to have one that was just like solid was kind of a nice return to form for them. Number 33, more movies that I gave way lower ratings than everyone else. Black Bag. I saw a lot of people putting this in their top 10 list near the end of the year here. And overall, like, I enjoyed it. Maybe I need to go back and watch it again, because honestly, I probably didn't give it the full amount of attention that the movie actually deserved to get at the time I watched it. So maybe if I watched it again, I'd actually like really enjoy it a lot more and find a lot more interesting things about it. Number 32, The Smashing Machine, the first out of the 2 Safdie movies this year. And this one was a disappointment. It wasn't terrible by any means. It just felt like kind of a generic biopic. It's kind of exactly what you expected it to be, with The Rock in it. He gave a good performance overall. I don't even think this is his best performance, but it's much better than most of his performances, which doesn't take a whole lot, but it is solid. And Emily Blunt's good in it too, but it really doesn't feel like a Safdie movie that much, or at least, you know, the previous like Uncut Gems and Good Time doesn't really feel like those as much. It feels more just like a generic biopic with parts of that, like bringing in real world people to play the roles and stuff like that. But I just didn't quite get into it like I think the movie was hoping for me to get into it. Like the movie near the end really wants to like have an emotional gut punch for you, and I wasn't really feeling it. I kind of walked out of the theater, drove home. By the time I drove home and I had my dinner, I was kind of like, yeah, it was okay. Like I didn't really remember a whole lot about it. And now we're finally going to get into like the more good stuff. Number 31, Friendship. Pretty solid comedy overall. I don't particularly follow Tim Robinson a ton. I've seen some of his Netflix stuff. I think it's pretty funny, but I'm not like a humongous mega fan of his like some people I know. But overall, I thought this movie was pretty solid. It was a solid, good comedy, which we don't get a lot of these days. Kind of more weirder in some aspects. It reminded me a lot of The Cable Guy, which I actually watched like after watching this because I heard some comparisons, and I thought The Cable Guy was actually a little better than this in a lot of ways. But overall, it's kind of what you expect in terms of like a Tim Robinson comedy. He's got a weird sense of humor. I don't gel with everything he does, but I think sometimes when he hits, he really hits and brings something really funny to the table. So overall, I thought this was solid. Number 30, Looney Tunes, The Day the Earth Blew Up. Once again, just like Friendship, not every single joke landed. In fact, I don't think I laughed out loud once during this movie, but I was just consistently sitting there, just really enjoying it, going like, Like, it would get like a out of me like every minute because it's just rapid fire joke. The animation is great, voice acting is great. I feel like if you took your kids to go see it, the whole family would just be able to kind of enjoy it equally because it's just basic slapstick humor done extremely well. So overall, I thought it was pretty solid. Not a lot of people went to go see it, but yeah, solid family movie. Number 29, The Phoenician Scheme. Wes Anderson's newest film that, once again, just like I mentioned earlier, if you're going, you know what to expect right away when you walk into a Wes Anderson movie. You know, like the symmetrical angles, the actors, the types of performances, the dialogue. It's always kind of the same. But overall, I actually liked this one more than his last movie, The Asteroid City. I thought this one was pretty solid. I thought it had like a general like pretty good sense of humor. I feel like I laughed at this one a lot more than his previous movies, mostly because of Michael Cera. I could not stop laughing at Michael Cera's performance in this movie. I thought he was easily the best part, and it's crazy that he had never worked with Wes Anderson before. Number 28, I feel like I just rounded up all the comedies here. Probably should have spread them out. Some are better than others, whatever. Number 26, The Naked Gun. There's really not much to it other than I laughed at most of the jokes. I thought it was pretty funny, well put together. Liam Neeson's really good in it. There's really not much else to talk about. It's just a solid comedy. Number 27, Predator, Killer of Killers. I like this a lot more than Badlands. I like the aesthetic. I like the animation. I liked seeing the Predators fight in the different eras. I mean, some of the anthology shorts were better than others. Like the Samurai one was awesome. That's like some of the coolest stuff I've seen all year. The Viking one was pretty good. The World War one, I didn't think was that interesting particularly. I thought that one was just okay, and I thought the ending with all three of them coming together was solid. So it's kind of varies depending on what section of the movie you're watching, how good it is. But overall, it was a pretty solid, just kind of badass type of movie, which is exactly what you want from Predator. And I gotta be honest, in terms of this or Badlands, I'd much rather see a sequel to this and just have them continue with Predator for animation. I'd much rather prefer this. I like that it's R-rated. I like that it's gritty. I like that it's got its own unique style. It doesn't feel like it's copying anything else. Overall, just pretty solid animated movie. Sucks that I had to watch it on Hulu and not in a movie theater. Number 26, Companion. Man, it's been almost a year since I watched this, but I still remember good chunks of it, which I think shows the quality of the movie overall. Very clever script, lots of twists and turns that you may have seen coming. Some of them were more predictable, and some of them were less predictable. But overall, pretty funny take on artificial intelligence, which I feel like we're seeing so much of nowadays, and it's getting really cringy. But I didn't feel like this movie was ever cringy with it. I thought it was pretty clever with it for the most part of the way AI might be in the future. Overall, just a pretty solid, lower budget, like thriller/comedy movie. I hope we get more movies like this. I don't think it performed particularly well, so it's kind of sad, but just a pretty solid movie. Number 25, F1. This movie is the opposite of Companion. It has one of the most boring, tired scripts for a movie I have seen all year, and it hardly matters because you're there to see Brad Pitt get in a Formula One car with an IMAX camera attached to it and drive around like crazy and do a bunch of crazy shit. And that's exactly what you get in the movie. You're getting exactly what you think it's going to be. You know what it's going to be from the first second the movie starts. You know every single plot twist that's going to happen. You know that the villains are going to lose and the heroes are going to win at just the last minute on the last lap. But it almost doesn't matter because it gives you exactly what you want. The Hans Zimmer score is thrilling. Brad Pitt gives a great movie star performance in this. It's nice to see like an actual blockbuster movie with some scale and spectacle to it again. Overall, just like a solid, fun movie. It's not going to surprise you, but good fun. Number 24, Ballerina. I saw a lot of people downrating this one, and yeah, it's not nearly as good as the other John Wick movies, which I consider to be near perfect action masterpieces for the most part. I think they're some of the most thrilling action movies we've gotten in the last 20 years. And this does not live up to that. You can tell that this was kind of a Frankenstein movie of one director shot it, and then Chad Stahelski, the director of the first 4 John Wicks, came in and basically reshot probably 60 to 70% of the movie and came in and fixed it. But hey, he did his job. It was fixed. It was really fun to watch. I like the fact that the ballerina actual character that Ana de Armas played was way smaller than John Wick, so she had to use her environment to her advantage, like actually using the floor, using like bombs. She had to use everything to her advantage to win the fight, which made it different from John Wick. And they showed that she's nowhere near John Wick's level. which I actually really liked because I was kind of nervous going into this. I'm like, okay, is she just gonna like by the end of the movie be as good as John Wick? But they show no, she's nowhere near John Wick. So I really actually enjoyed that. And overall, just a pretty solid action movie. Number 23, Fantastic Four. See, look, Marvel can make good movies again. It was pretty solid for the most part. My biggest problem with Fantastic Four is that the best scene in the movie is in the middle of the movie with the space scene with Galactus and Silver Surfer. Like, you're watching that and you're like, oh my god, this is like as good as like the best scenes of phase 2 and 3 again. Like, this is incredible. And then nothing gets that good the entire rest of the movie. But it's still like a pretty solid experience. I thought they did a good job introducing the Fantastic Four. It was overall pretty solid in terms of the casting, in terms of the effects, action. It was all just solid. Nothing like besides that scene in the middle really stood out that much in the movie. But it was just a solid like Marvel movie. Number 22, The Long Walk. Once again, just really solid, well done thriller. The script for this movie is definitely its biggest advantage. I don't know if it's because it mostly just took from the book. I don't know if these monologues were just completely ripped from the book because I haven't read the book. But some of these monologues, although they could be overly cheesy, really do get you emotionally invested in the characters and their struggles. And I feel like actually do get you to like want to see people win this long walk or get away from this long walk. My biggest problem with the movie was just the directing. I didn't really feel like it was elevated because I felt like it had kind of an elevated script and an elevated performances, especially from David Johnson. He was fantastic in this movie. If he was nominated for an Oscar, I would not be mad. But overall, the visuals just lack, which I understand, like you have to film these characters just constantly walking. It's probably hard to like vary up the visuals, but I found like sometimes that the movie just looked kind of muddy, which maybe was the point to make you really feel the despair these characters were in. But I feel like just a little bit more of like an actual environment and a little bit more of an actual like, you know, camera movement or surroundings, because it's not a book. You have to adapt it so that it works as a movie too. And I know Stephen King doesn't like it when things are changed from his books, but The Shining is the best adaptation for a reason, because it was changed to be fit into a movie, and I feel like they could have learned a thing or two from this. Overall, though, still pretty solid movie. Number 21, Caught Stealing. No one saw this movie. It completely flopped in its opening weekend and was pulled from theaters like 2 weeks after, so no one basically got a chance to catch up on this until it hit Netflix. I think it hit Netflix recently. But once again, I did not expect Darren Aronofsky to deliver a movie like this. His movies usually are very intellectual and depressing, but this was just like an actual, just genuine good, solid 90s style crime thriller. I'm actually happy he did change his style and give us a movie like this, because it shows that he actually has range past the movies he's typically known for, because this was a pretty solid crime thriller. Austin Butler gives a really good performance, Zoe Kravitz is good in it. It's consistently funny, it's thrilling, there's some good action in it. Overall, it's just a solid crime thriller. It's exactly what you'd want from a movie like this. Number 20, Mickey 17. I know a lot of people were really disappointed in this. I was partially disappointed in this. It's still a pretty good movie, but obviously following Parasite, you kind of expect a little more from Bong Joon-ho. I think this movie kind of fell under its ambition. It's clear that he wanted to do a lot with this movie because he probably knew I'm never going to get a budget to play it around like this ever again. So he just put all these crazy ideas that maybe he had for other movies into this movie. And it wasn't the greatest for that reason, but you have to respect the ambition, and it's still well made. It still overall has like an interesting message. The rich and the poor allegory in this movie, I actually liked it in the beginning, like the first act with him showing his different like 16, 17 lives. But by the end, it just felt like the message got really it was just really overdone. And it's like, we get it, you're talking about Trump. It's like, which, hey, there's lots you can say about Trump that's interesting, but I don't feel like this movie really did that well of a job of just saying anything new about it. It was just like, yeah, he's dumb, isn't he? It's like, yeah, he is, but what's your other point here? And I didn't really feel like there was another point besides save the forest or save the animals and screw fascists and all that, which we've seen from a bunch of other movies before. I'm still extremely excited for Bong Joon-ho's next work. I'm sure that it will probably be great. I'm sure this probably was just a huge project that the ambition probably just crushed down on him a little bit. But overall, still a pretty solid movie. Number 19, Materialist. I saw a bunch of people shitting on this movie, saying it wasn't that deep. And I agree, it really wasn't that deep. It didn't really have anything to say that was like that crazy about modern day love or dating. But I didn't really feel like it was going for that. I don't feel like it was trying to act like it was bringing up these ideas for the first time. I think it was just supposed to be more of kind of a solid romantic like type of movie that we don't really get anymore in the theater. And the fact that this did pretty well on a small budget, I think shows that these types of movies can still exist. And I'm just happy to see that, these other types of movies can still be out there. All right, number 18, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Now, I know a lot of people had a lot of problems with this movie, that it was too long, there was too much exposition, it felt like it was just recapping the last movie for half the runtime. All these problems are completely true. This movie is kind of a mess story-wise and makes almost no sense at some points. It just tends to drag on way longer than it needs to, just overly explaining everything. Half the scenes in this movie are basically a character going, wait a minute, so you're telling me that this key can unlock this thing to get the AI to do this? And then Tom Cruise goes, yeah, what I am telling you is that this AI can, and it's basically that scene multiple times over for the first half of the movie. Now, I'm just bitching about the movie, so you're probably wondering why it's all the way at number 18. It's the fucking stunts, dude. Like, no other franchise can pull off what this movie has. This has easily the most riveting scene, actually just two scenes I have seen in a movie all year. It is completely thrilling when it turns off the exposition and just does what these movies do best, which is pure adrenaline. And you do not feel this adrenaline in any other kind of film franchise. It is nowhere near anything else coming out, the level of mastery that Christopher McQuarrie has been able to acquire, especially with that final scene of the plane. It is so good, which is why it's so high up on the list. It's just a damn shame that if the rest of the movie had been as great as those scenes, then it could have probably topped Fallout and become the best movie in the franchise. At number 17, I have Superman. Now, I have to admit, this was my most anticipated movie of the year. I love James Gunn. I love his work for the most part. I think he's very talented. I love Superman. I was so ready to see Superman get the adaptation that he deserves, to finally have the general public realize he is not boring and is actually a great character. Overall, I think the movie did do that job. I think that it did make Superman overall appeal more to the general public, and people more understand now why he's such a cool character. Overall, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't quite love it as much as I wanted to. I think it has some pacing issues. I think there's a little too much going on and it's a little fast. I wish we had slowed down at some points, with mainly the Daily Planet, maybe gotten some more of that. But I liked everything in the movie. The main problem was just that I wanted more of everything, which I guess you could also say was a positive. But at the same time, I would have wanted more scenes with the Daily Planet crew. I would have wanted more scenes of him as Clark Kent, especially since his identity as Kal-El and Clark is so important to the movie. I feel like having more of the Clark stuff would have actually made that emotionally land a little more at the end. But Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, fantastic. Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, also fantastic. David Cornsweet as Superman. He was born to play Superman. Definitely the best Superman we've gotten since Christopher Reeve, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do with this next, because I think that a sequel could improve on these problems, slow down, take its time more, and really flesh out these characters in this world more. So I'm excited to see what happens next. At number 16, I have The Life of Chuck. Now, I have to admit, going into this, I thought it'd be more of a generic Oscar bait type of movie, but it actually kind of surprised me. It actually had more to say than I thought it would. I like how the story's told out of order. I like overall how Chuck himself is not even the main, really even the full main character of the movie. It's kind of weird to explain, but if you've seen it, you know. Number 15, Sentimental Values. This is one of the new awards movies that's in the Oscar race. I decided to check this one out. I don't usually check out all the Best Picture nominees because some of them just look like shit. I'm sorry, but they look like exactly what you think, fart-smelling shit. But this one I thought actually did have something more interesting to say about, legacy and trauma and understanding your trauma through your family history. Great performances. Number 14, Weapons, one of the two breakout original movies of the year that actually broke out with the general public and did extremely well at the box office. And I'm really glad this did well because I had a lot of fun with this movie. I went to this at a perfect showtime. I saw it at a 7 o'clock Saturday, sold out crowd. It was just really fantastic to see, and a whole audience of just normal people, not the usual Thursday night audience, people who I go with who want to see the movie late, just normal people who clearly were talking before the movie during the trailers, who were pulled in by this movie. They immediately got invested into it. We were all laughing. Everyone was squirming in the theater during the weirder parts. It was just a fantastic overall experience. Maybe one of, if not my favorite theater experience of the whole year. Very well written, very well told. Basically, Prisoners meets Magnolia. Overall, great performances all around. I really think Zach Cregger is going to be one of our great horror icons if he chooses to keep making horror movies. I've never played a Resident Evil game, but I'm really looking forward to his Resident Evil. I'm really interested to see what he's going to do with that. Number 13, Die My Love. I think this is probably the most divisive movie I have pretty far up on my list. Most people really seem to kind of hate this movie. I saw a lot of people shitting on it, which is honestly fair. This is the type of movie where if you don't connect with it, you are not going to like it. It's simply you have to get on its wavelength. But I watched this movie with like one other person in a completely empty theater, which I think most people probably got the experience who went to go see this movie, because no one saw this movie except for the film snob crowd, and even they didn't really like it. But something about this one clicked with me. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed its darker, more fucked up sense of humor. You have to have a very fucked up sense of humor to find some of the shit in this movie funny, which I feel like this movie was intentionally kind of a dark comedy in some ways. I think that might just be me, though, because most people seem to think it's just pretentious and doesn't have meaning. But I think there is some meaning. I think some of it's more just comedic than people understand. But that's just my opinion. It's everyone's allowed to have their own take on the movie. Number 12 is Warfare. I gotta be honest, I had not seen much from Alex Garland. In fact, I think I had made fun of people before for praising him so much. And then this and then what's next on my list are both directed and then a written by him movie. So I gotta say, I've become actually kind of an Alex Garland fan this past year. I think I actually gotta go and check out the rest of his work, because he surprisingly puts out good stuff, and Warfare was very good. Now, I saw some people had some problems with the fact that this movie didn't fully make a pro-war or anti-war message. I think that misses the whole complete point of the movie. I think this is very similar to Dunkirk, where it's not making a point about that stuff, and it's more just recreating this moment in time with these Marines, trying to encapsulate what it was like to be there, with the sound design, with just the weird stuff in the movie, like Tony Soprano's son accidentally injecting himself with morphine. Most war movies wouldn't put something like that unless he was about to trip out or something, but he doesn't. That's just a weird thing that happened, because they want you to recreate that moment in time and see what it was like for those people. Those people weren't thinking about whether this war was worth it when they were doing it. They were thinking about how they were going to get out alive. And the movie doesn't want a message about that. The movie is just trying to encapsulate you into that moment. And in terms of pure filmmaking, I think it did its job completely in that. Next up, Alex Garland's next movie that he wrote. He didn't direct, but he wrote this, which is 28 Years Later at number 11. Another incredibly divisive movie. I saw people give this movie 4.5, 5 stars, or 2 stars, and say it was terrible, or the ending ruined it for them. I thought this movie was mostly brilliant. I thought it really came together in the end for me. I actually liked the ending. I know most people didn't with the Jimmies, but I thought it was actually kind of an interesting setup for the next movie. And also, if you pay attention in the beginning of the movie, when he picks up the Power Ranger toy and then puts it back down, that's almost kind of a representative of him leaving behind his childhood, becoming a man, and for him to fully be in this life now post his mom dying. And then to have these Power Rangers looking Jimmy show up at the end kind of shows that maybe there are those who never grew up during the apocalypse. And I'm excited to see what they're going to do with that in the next movie that comes out in a couple weeks here. I think there's some really interesting concepts that could come from that. But overall, just really, I enjoyed the style. A lot of people really hated the iPhone shot, multiple camera, Matrix style kills. I thought it was interesting. It's a way to differentiate it from different apocalypse zombie movies. I thought that it really did a great job of kind of bringing the modern world to this archaic zombie world to show that the rest of the world is completely moved on, while this part of the UK is just fully stuck in time forever. I thought that was really interesting. I don't know. I thought this was really fantastic. I really didn't understand the hate from a lot of people for this. I thought this was one of the most interesting zombie movies I've seen, honestly. Number 10, one battle after another. I know. Almost everyone has this movie at number 1 or number 2. They have it at 4.5, 5 stars in Letterboxd. Everyone loves this movie. It's the front runner to win Best Picture, and I really, really liked it. But I have some issues with it. The stuff that works. Leo is great in the movie. Almost every single joke with him completely lands. The movie looks gorgeous. The action is fantastic. The chase scenes are tense. It's consistently funny. It never seems to miss its mark overall in terms of that. But my main problem is with the Sean Penn character. I know everyone's praising him. He's going to win another Oscar for this. And overall, he was good in the movie. But the overall writing of his villain character, Colonel Lockjaw, I just wasn't intimidated by him very much, if I have to be honest. I thought he was supposed to be this threatening villain. I get that part of the point was that he's a joke. He's trying to join this white supremacist group, and he's attracted to black girls, and he's literally too stupid to realize, half his flaws, or the fact that, he's incredibly hypocritical. But I just didn't find him intimidating. I found him to be just kind of stupid and incompetent. And during these scenes where it's supposed to be super tense, even though it's super well made and the camera's moving all over, I'm like, God, this is really good. I can't help but in the back of my head feel like there's no like intensity to his character, because I just think of him as kind of an idiot. Like, I don't really think he's that interesting of a villain. I mean, he's an interesting enough character, but as a villain, I wish that they had shown him to be a little more competent in the movie, so that he had actually been more of a threat to the main characters. So I just never really felt threatened by him or the government in the movie. I just didn't think any of that really came together that well. That being said, it's a great movie. It deserves a lot of the praise and hype it's gotten. I don't think it's nearly one of Paul Thomas Anderson's best movies, but I definitely think it's worthy among his filmography. I think it is great. Number 9, Thunderbolts. Oh my God, I put a Marvel movie above one battle after another. I got my film Letterboxd card revoked. Oh no. But you know what? This had everything I wanted in one of these Marvel movies. It had great action. It had great chemistry with the group. Overall solid script. Good villain. It's just everything you could really ask for from one of these types of movies. I'm not asking for the world from a Marvel movie. This is what I'm asking for. Just basic competency, fun, but at the same time has good writing for its characters, has good themes and messages that, anyone from probably 10 and above teens can understand and root for, these characters. This is the basics of what a Marvel movie should be. I really think that this is the blueprint going forward of how they should be. Unfortunately, it did not perform at the box office, which means that we have more Avengers multiverse slop coming, because that seems to be the only thing that's getting major audiences in theaters for superhero movies now. Number 8, Wake Up Dead Man. Finally, the third and maybe final Knives Out movie from Rian Johnson, at least the final one from Netflix, since it's now released from Netflix's clause that finally can go back to another studio and get a full theatrical release instead of the bullshit 2 weeks and 200 theaters thing where hardly anyone knows about it. And then they say, well, the numbers are low. So, well, how about you advertise the fact that it's in theaters then? But still, I'm glad I got to see it in the theater. I'm glad that Rian Johnson gets to keep making these movies. I think this one especially was a lot stronger than the last one. I think most people would agree on that. I thought it had a way stronger central cast. I thought it had a stronger theme overall. It wasn't as annoying with its themes. I thought that it actually had something to say, unlike the last one where it's just like, rich people, they're kind of stupid. It's like, well, no shit, Ryan. Thanks. But this one I feel like actually had something interesting to say about religion, about your faith, because I like the fact that the movie has both sides available. You have this priest character Father Judd, who believes in what he's doing. He believes in the goodness of humanity. He believes in healing. He believes in being able to help people. You have the corrupt priest played by Josh Brolin, who's just completely taking advantage of the church, stealing from people using this power to his advantage. And then you have the Benoit Blanc character, who for the first time gets kind of an arc in this one. Like, he's kind of the non-believer. He doesn't believe. And you think there's going to be this really cheesy scene at the end of the movie where, like, you know, the light shines through the window and God is touching him and he will see the truth. But instead of that, instead he sees the truth of what can be good about the church through a man who's actually doing good things, not through a random revelation. I think that's why this worked so well. It didn't feel cheesy. It felt genuine with its message about religion. It felt genuine about how it actually went about with its mystery, about how it tied in with religion. As someone who's not extremely religious, I found this to be actually very open-minded and very in the middle in terms of religion, which most movies either go hard, like anti, or hard pro. So the fact that there's one that looked on both sides in a very appreciative way, I thought was actually very cool. So Ryan, please keep making these Knives Out movies because they are a joy. Even the worst one is still pretty fun. Number 7, Marty Supreme. Yes, one Safdie bro still has got it, and Timothée Chalamet gives probably his best performance yet as this character. It's once again, big shocker, a hustler character in a Safdie movie, which just leads to craziness. You know what you're gonna expect from at least Josh at this point. Lots of craziness, lots of real world people just randomly having roles in the movie. Lots of screaming over synth music. It's all there. It's as good as you'd want it to be. It's intense. It's funny. It's got actually a decent heart to it at its core, even though it's still a Safdie Bros movie. It still pushes the limit of what it can get away with. It's great to see Josh get more of a huge playing field in terms of the $70 million budget, this bigger movie with Timothée Chalamet. I can't wait to see what his future career can do. The fact that we got this movie that cost $70 million about a ping pong hustler in the 50s is absolutely fantastic. I want more movies like this to come out and perform well like Marty Supreme is. Hopefully we can get more movies like this in the future. Number 6, Chainsaw Man, the movie Reze Arc. That's a dumb name. Who cares? It's a great fucking movie. This was maybe the most fun I've had in a theater all year. Maybe there might be another movie on this list that might surpass it. But man, this movie was an absolute fucking thrill ride. And I already knew the story. I've read the Chainsaw Man comic. I read it years ago. I already knew what to expect going in. But yet it still blew me away. Every single choice it made adaptation-wise. This is what I was talking about from The Long Walk earlier, where that movie decided to not really elevate its material. This elevates its material. This doesn't necessarily add dialogue or add scenes, but adds a cinematic language to it that actually makes it improve in being a movie. It's not just a panel by panel recreation. The action is absolutely nuts. They have topped themselves here. This is some of the best animated action I have seen since Across the Spider-Verse. This movie looks absolutely gorgeous. It pushes the limits of what you can do with animation. I'm so glad that we're talking about 2 R-rated animated movies that were extremely successful. Please, more R-rated animation, more violence, more real-world themes. People want adult animation. This shows that if you make it on a cheap enough budget, it is profitable. People want it. Give us more. I'm excited for more Chainsaw Man. Number 5, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Don't say Netflix's Frankenstein. Get that shit out of here. No one fucking cares about Netflix's Frankenstein. It sounds like a goddamn $2 Frankenstein movie. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, on the other hand, is absolutely fucking gorgeous. The best set design I have seen in a movie maybe all decade so far. It looks absolutely fantastic. These huge, elaborate sets, and the fact that he was able to take the Frankenstein story, the base story, and make it a story about accepting abuse and how abuse can go through multiple cycles, through multiple years. The fact that it's about ending the cycle of abuse is pretty genius actually to do through the Frankenstein story. Admittedly, I have not read the original book. I just started it. I am really excited to see maybe how this compares to it. But overall, at least from what I've seen, to never have the Frankenstein story be a story about father and son, about an abusive father to his son in both ways, to Dr. Frankenstein and to the monster. I thought that was a really creative, interesting angle to take. Just continuously, Guillermo del Toro's movies look absolutely beautiful. His gothic style was so perfect for Frankenstein. I'm so glad he made this movie. I'm just happy that this got theatrically released and I got the chance to see it in a theater the way it was intended to be. Number 4, Bring Her Back. I saw a lot of people like rate this like decently, like they enjoyed it. I absolutely loved this. In terms of a horror movie, not many horror movies intimidate me. I don't really get scared at horror movies. I don't really flinch that often. I can handle violence pretty well. This movie had some scenes that had me squirming in my seat. This movie is so disturbing. If you do not like to see children getting hurt, you should not watch this movie because it is disturbing as shit when it comes to that. But it does its job completely. You get invested in its atmosphere. It's weird, it's sick, it's twisted. You'll laugh sometimes, you'll squirm in your seat. It's exactly the type of experience I want to have watching a horror movie. It actually affected me. I thought that overall it had a good pace to it, that the performances were great, which usually sometimes child performances can be really shit. Both the kids in this movie were really fucking good, and that creepy demon boy was also great, and so some of the imagery that came from that, I still remember some of it, which I can't say about most horror movies. I still can remember most of the shit that happened in this movie, going on more than half a year now. Just fantastic stuff. I love these guys. I love Talk to Me. I'm excited to see what these two do next, and hopefully they can keep making these types of movies if they want to. At number 3, we have Sinners. Yes, the movie that everyone could not shut up about for months. And for good reason, because it's a fantastic movie. You really can't pick it apart that much, in my opinion. Some people have. But I view this as almost kind of a perfect blockbuster movie experience of our decade. It has a lot to say about cultural assimilation and how music represents our cultures, while at the same time never being too heavy-handed and still being badass in a great movie that's entertaining to watch, which most movies nowadays really seem to struggle with. And I feel like this one is just extremely strong. It follows Spielberg's law, which is that we don't know a ton about each character, but we know just enough to get invested in them when they're thrown into peril in the second half of the movie. It's just fantastic. I mean, I've said that word a lot, but this has genuinely been a great year for movies. And all I have to say for Sinners is the music scene at the barn. If you've seen the movie, that's all I have to say. You just think of it immediately. You know what I'm talking about. It was like the best scene in a movie all year. It's incredible. Man, I hope Coogler honestly does something original instead of another Black Panther movie, because I really think his talents are kind of wasted at Marvel. But we'll have to see. Still a fantastic movie. Should win Best Picture. At number 2, I was once a hater. I once did not believe in the Lord James Cameron, but now I do. Avatar: Fire and Ash it's the cinematic experience of the year. I know I just said that about Sinners, and yes, Sinners from a artistic standpoint is better than Avatar: Fire and Ash. But from a pure just fuck yeah spectacle, this, you don't get better than this. Seriously, no one can do it like James Cameron. James Cameron has managed to pull off what like hardly any other filmmakers can do, which is to make a $400 million movie that still keeps his personality in it. I mean, seriously, this guy just is above the rest of us. I don't know how to describe scenes of this movie. This movie is so batshit crazy, in my opinion. And yes, I know a lot of people have the problems with the fact that it repeated a lot of stuff from the first two. And yes, it did. From a script standpoint, this movie is not even that strong. But from a cinematic standpoint, I was just so in awe of what I was watching once I got on this movie's wavelength, and once I understood what it was trying to show me. I feel like I really finally came to understand why people had hyped up Avatar all these years and why it's the highest grossing movie of all time, because there are no other movies that give you this thrill. The 3D is amazing. I usually hate 3D, but my god, it does get you invested into this world and make you feel like you are on Pandora. This might be the finale, according to James Cameron, if it doesn't do well enough. I think it will do well enough to get another 2 of these made, and we'll get to see how the story of Pandora will finish. Man, I'm invested now. I'm ready for Avatar 4 and 5. And then finally, at number 1, we have Eddington. Now, Eddington is not an extremely popular movie. It is a very divisive movie. You love this movie or you hate this movie. I have not met a single person who said this movie was just okay. You hate it or you love it. And I'm in the love it camp. I know a lot of people, similar to Warfare, have a problem with the fact that this movie doesn't seemingly pick 100% pick one side of the fence and that it's a fence sitting movie, but I would completely disagree. I don't view this movie as pro liberal or pro conservative. I view it as pro people. I think this movie kind of delivers a message of how broken and hurt we all were by the pandemic. The fact that people just don't trust each other anymore, that people are mean towards each other, what social media does to people, what being a part of hive minds on both sides does to people, what conspiracy theories can do to someone's mind. It really just unravels just how fucked up our world has become and just how fucked up the pandemic was, and then puts you in front of it and makes you watch. And you know what? The pandemic happened, and you've got to laugh at it a little bit. How ridiculous all of us were. Let's admit it. All of us picked one side or the other for at least one topic during the pandemic and made ourselves look like jackasses. And this movie puts a mirror up to us and makes us realize that the real enemies all along were the people taking advantage of that, claiming all of the money from all these tech companies blowing up and then leaving us all in the dust to figure out what the fuck to do afterwards. I don't think I've seen a movie this brave in Hollywood in a long time. Most movies in Hollywood just tend to lean very one way or very the other way. This, I feel like, just leans towards people. It leans towards what it means to be human. And even the Joe Cross Joaquin Phoenix character. Most times this character, who doesn't want to wear a mask, would usually be portrayed as an absolute moron. And this movie does show that he is an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing with his campaign. He tries to host a campaign event and like 5 people show up at a Taco Bell. But it does show his sympathetic side. It does show he cares about his wife and he does care about the people of his town. And he views himself as trying to keep these data center people out of his town as a heroic act to save his town from becoming just another farm for an AI company or Facebook or whatever. It's a very controversial pick. I understand that. If you don't fuck with this movie or its themes, I'd completely understand it. I've met people who have made very good arguments actually for why it's overhanded. Maybe it just appealed to me specifically, but I feel like this movie, more than any other movie this year, just was able to give like an actual message about our world and actually do something interesting with it instead of just go a generic route that we all expect. We're done. Every fucking movie I watched this year ranked. All of them. Oh my god, I spent my entire fucking life this year at the fucking movie theater. And I didn't even see everything I wanted to see. Shoutouts to No Other Choice and Is This Thing On? They're not playing near me yet. I want to see them. They very well could end up on my top 10 list. They could push out some things. We'll have to see whenever I get a chance to watch them. I'm very excited for No Other Choice. Maybe I should have waited till I got to see that to do this list, but hey, it will be irrelevant in 2 to 3 weeks, so you got to get on it for that YouTube grind. Well, if you watched the video this long, which I doubt anyone did, maybe some people did, I respect it. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, or dislike. Do whatever the fuck you want. I'm not your dad. I'll see you next time, if there is a next time. Bye bye.